Prosecutors raised concerns about a potential conflict of interest between Gunna and his lawyer. Let's get into the details. My name is Jamahl Kersey. I'm the principal attorney at Kersey Law, a boutique criminal defense firm in San Diego, California. And in this video, we're talking about the motion hearing recently regarding Gunna's potential conflict of interest with his lawyer. So last week, Gunna had a hearing regarding a conflict waiver in his case. You may have seen the issue come up a little while back with Young Thug and a potential conflict of interest with his lawyer. And so if there is a conflict of interest for the lawyer, then, first of all, that's just unfair, right? A lawyer, we have a fiduciary duty to our client. We have a duty of loyalty to our client. And so in anything that could potentially compromise that duty of loyalty needs to be addressed and resolved for the fairness of, the client. In this situation, the DA raised this issue because, first of all, they're interested in justice. A good DA is truly interested in justice. They don't want to basically move forward on a case in which the defendant in the case has a lawyer that has a conflict of interest. But the other practical reason is that they don't want this case to go all the way through trial, the defendant end up getting convicted, and then ultimately it goes on appeal and then gets overturned because there was a conflict of interest, and then that conflict of interest prejudiced the defendant in the case. So the DA, rather than to risk that happens, wants to have this issue resolved now. So in 2015, Gunna's lawyer represented Jimmy Winfrey on appeal in a state court case, and that conviction was ultimately overturned. And then the same lawyer represented Mr. Winfrey in the Superior Court, where he entered his plea. So it came up that, Gunna's lawyer, in having represented Mr. Winfrey, there may be a conflict of interest as it pertains to representing Mr. Winfrey and Gunna. And so the judge in this hearing confirmed that Gunna had the opportunity to discuss these potential conflicts with his lawyer. And so these conflicts basically point out the risk of one lawyer representing two people in the same case, or otherwise just representing two people whose interests may be in conflict with each other. So a lawyer obviously having one client snitch against the other client presents a very serious ethical issue for that lawyer and puts his clients in a tough bind. The other thing is that a witness could say something, or evidence can come out that's good for one client but bad for the other client. Also, the defense attorney may want to use one theory of the case that works for one client but might be bad for the other client. During closing arguments, the lawyer may make some sort of argument that is favorable to one of the clients but not favorable to the other. At sentencing, the lawyer may argue that one of the clients is actually less culpable than the other client, and the lawyer may learn something from one of the clients, right, that helps his other client but would be very harmful to the other client. So these are the potential conflicts that arise. And me myself, as a defense attorney, I'm very conservative in this sense. Like I just really, it'd be a very, very, very limited situation in which I would represent two different people in the same case because of these conflicts. It just really puts you in a tough spot. And really, at the end of the day, I just think, my recommendation would be for the other party to just hire another attorney so that we never even get put in that position where we're ended up, facing these potential conflicts. The judge confirmed that Gunna understood that he has a right to seek a different lawyer if he wants to, but ultimately he decided that he wanted to remain with his lawyer. The judge also let Gunna know that, hey, if any conflicts arise in the future, then you are more than welcome to raise the issue in court, and that the judge also would be mindful of any potential conflicts and raise them on his own motion. And so, similar to the DA, the judge is interested in making sure that people who come into his courtroom are treated fairly and that justice is ultimately served. And so that, in addition to the same practical reason of not wanting to go through a trial and all the resources that are spent on going through a trial only to have a conviction overturned because of a conflict of interest that ultimately prejudiced the client. So the judge took Gunna's conflict waiver and will allow him to remain with his current counsel. That's it for this video. So if you got something out of this, please show me some love, hit the like button, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and make sure you turn on those notifications so you never miss a new video when it drops. As always, I want to thank you so much for watching, and until next time, peace.